Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And it's time for the Southern Dictionary Word of the Day, and I'm your host, Tommy Ellison, coming to you from the great state of Alabama. And today we have a couple of special words for you. We'll get into that later. But in the meantime, wanted to just wish a happy weekend to you, and hope y'all are doing well. So let's get on with it. Let's go to the Board of Education and see what the words are we are looking at today. Wrong button. Wrong. We are talking about the letter C. The letter C. That's always a good letter. It's the third one in the alphabet. And as you know, we're going through every letter for the month of April with our CETA challenge, creating every day in April. So let's look at that letter C. You know, as we've talked about in previous episodes, your dictionary may be using some of these words in different ways than what we do in the South. And this is no example, or it's no different in this case, because we're going to be looking at the word chauffeur. Now, if you were to look up chauffeur in your northern dictionary, it would say it's a noun, a person employed to drive a private or rented automobile, as in a chauffeur-driven limousine. Or it can be used as a verb, as in drive, or a car, or a passenger in a car, typically as part of one's job. She insisted on being chauffeured around. Another use of the term chauffeur. But in the South, sometimes chauffeur is used a little differently. In fact, it's oftentimes used as a noun or a preposition, and it's a reference to a Bourbon Street show bar. In fact, if you walk down to Bourbon Street at night, you will oftentimes find those guys, what they call the barkers, standing out on the street trying to encourage you to come into their place of business. And sometimes they'll use this word, chauffeur. They'll say, "There's naked girls inside, boys, and I can get you into the show for just $2. Another usage of the word chauffeur. Bet you've not heard that one before, I'm sure. Now, actually this day, I'm going to have a bonus word. And the bonus word is castrate. Now, it's oftentimes used as a verb, as in removing the testicles of a male animal or a man. And in some cases, it can be used as a noun, as in a man or male animal whose testicles have been removed, and hopefully by a doctor. And this always kind of reminds me of the story of the fellow. It's a good friend of mine who went to his doctor and told him that he wanted to be castrated. And the doctor said, "Why would you ever want to be castrated?" He said, "You're a young, virile man, you know, you've got plenty of life in front of you. Why in the world would you want to be castrated?" And my friend said, "Doc, if you don't mind, I'd rather not explain, but I just want you to do it. If you can't do it, I'll find somebody else who will." And so the doctor said, "Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what we will do." And so he booked a surgery suite for him, took him in there, snip, snip, and castrated him. Now, they took him to the recovery room, and there, lying on the gurney, he was in, as you might imagine, immense pain. And yet on the gurney next to him in the recovery area was another gentleman laying there who was also in pain and moaning and suffering. And my friend looked at him and said, "Why are you in pain? What's wrong with you? What'd you have done?" And the man said, "Well, I had a vasectomy." And my friend said, "That's the word I was trying to think of. Castrate." Castrate didn't turn out too well for him. But let's look and see how we use this word in the South. In fact, we don't necessarily use it that way. In fact, it's sometimes mentioned as a hardened plaster mole used for immobilizing a broken limb so that the bone will not heal crookedly. As in the doctor, the sentence says they're going to have to re-break my arm because they said the doctor didn't get the castrate the first time. So, he didn't get the cast right the first time. He didn't get the cast straight the first time. That's probably what. Can we edit this? No. Okay, we're live. But that's the word castrated. That's our bonus word for the day. Tomorrow we'll be looking at the letter D, and I hope you'll join me on the Southern Dictionary Word of the Day. And in the meantime, y'all know what to do.